Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your magical moon message. This is the peace dealer. The moon is back in Aquarius, and we have reached 29. Let's put on some chapstick. We've reached 29 degrees Aquarius. As of now, and it's probably 0 degrees Pisces, which is 30 degrees Aquarius. And shout out to Pikachu. Congratulations. This is a really great milestone, especially as you embrace more the cyclical nature of what it is that facilitates these lessons. For many of you that are feeling disappointment, shame, negativity with the collective, with culture, with your place in the collective, with just feeling the way the world's going, that's perfectly normal. We're literally ending the world. We're coming into an end of the world cycle. You're actually individually processing what the entire collective thinks of itself. So don't really take it personal. You have your own opinions and viewpoints, but you're not doing anything that everyone else on the planet isn't doing in their own way. I also want to say that it should feel like you're in between worlds. It should feel like the new energy of this next phase of your life is here, but just still needing to settle in as you clear the old. It should feel like you still aren't super in the clear about what step to take, because we still have to go through the fog of Pisces season. That's going to change our belief and perception. It should feel like there are aspects of yourself you're still wanting deeper understanding of. This is all a good thing, because remember, we're starting this extraordinary new Pluto Aquarius cycle, amongst other things, as soon as March, April. So what you want to really keep in mind is you have finally made it to the end stage, okay? Especially relative to this cycle, March is literally a transition, okay? This Pisces season we're entering into is a significant transition that's going to end this cycle and start at the end of March in Aries season, a brand new cycle. What the equivalent of this is you've literally prepared for everything your whole life to get to this moment. Now, the invisible barrier, all right? If there's an invisible barrier where you're in between two worlds and like you feel like you're so close to something but so far from it, certain things are within grasp, you're around certain people but you're blocked from them, that's an invisible barrier that is dissipating. So all this stuff that you weren't meant to or shouldn't have connected with as soon as you did, you're going to find over this Pisces season, all of that starts to dissolve, so that once we step into Aries, you're ready to move forward with everything you manifested, brought in, and then it's all going to ground into the promised land, Taurus season, May, Jupiter, Taurus. So really take stock of everything you've learned about what you know about yourself Aquarius season, because this is not just Aquarius season. This is, of course, the closing sextile, right, relative to Aries season. So this is the conclusion of a very powerful 12-month cycle that we're getting ready to conclude through Pisces, which is literally it, okay? And when I say it's literally it, we've had the last Sun Saturn conjunction we are going to have in 30 years in Aquarius. We had the last Sun Pluto conjunction we're going to have in 257 years. We're going to have one more of this in Pisces before it retrogrades back, but that's going to be a whole different quality, subtly. So it's very important you really take into conclusion. This is a release day. You might be lethargic. Don't be trying to, listen, this is the balsamic phase. And so when we clear the field, you don't want to plant new seeds while you're clearing the field. Be very careful about trying to force and start new cycles while we're ending it. That's going to be the source of blockages and forcing things that may not feel right, versus that new moon cycle where now we can effectively start anew, plant new seeds. And this is new magic. I love new moons and mutable signs is trusting in the magic of new beginnings. So you're getting ready to plant new magical beliefs and abilities and new beginnings that are going to, at the conclusion of this whole cycle, give you the full-on experience of everything you've downloaded. Capricorn was the hardware you awakened with Pluto, and with Saturn of the operating system that you downloaded the programming of this hardware. Well, with Pisces, now you're ready to download software. So consider the fact that over the past 2 months, if not 12, 10 months, you have been awakening supernatural, radically divine attributes of your own transcendent nature and ability, uplifting you out of the old illusions of you being a human being or aspects of your genetics and anatomy and biology that was force fed to you by the corruption of a scam of an education system that made you think that you could just regurgitate postulates and theories made up by bullshitters over the past centuries with unconclusive peer-reviewed research. This is very radical to say, but there's a whole universe outside of you untapped, and then there's a whole world inside of you that science will never catch up to. So this is having you align to truths about you that you're not going to read in a peer-reviewed article. You're not going to read in a textbook. You're not going to be taught this in an education system. This comes from purely you. You're in a world that wants to strip you out of that power to trust in your inner authority by giving you the impression you can, but subtly, also pretty much pulling the rug under you and letting you know that you have to give your power away to external authorities who think for you and want to make sure you're safe. But I hope you know it's time for revolution. When Pluto was here last time in the 1700s, people were getting beheaded in France. The British were coming to fuck up the colonists in America, and monarchies all over the world were shook because they started to see people rise up and realize that you can't really just, use their resources and treat them for slave labor. And we're seeing this shit happen again because revolution is happening again. So relative to the extraordinary knowledge of power that you've awakened, many of you are realizing that you're not human beings. You are not a fucking human. You have a human form. You are a spirit. You are a soul, and you have a body. The quality of your soul can align you with other people of different cultures. So I have more in common with a Czechoslovakian Gemini-born spirit than someone who I grew up with in my Igbo culture. I'm going to, as a Nigerian, connect with ethnicity, but on a spiritual level, I'm going to be on the same frequency as another Gemini from a different culture, even though we're going to have different cultural differences. And you're starting to realize that a lot of what you were taught isn't really the basis and standard, and it's a lot more heavenly. And now, the revolution is staying true to what you know, not what you make up, because this is the folly of the spiritual community where everyone's a god and goddess and everyone makes bullshit up that appeals to your feelings, but no one does the work to actually balance it with logic and actually do the practice and make sense of it. A lot of what I know that rings to be true was practiced. You know what I'm saying? It was tested in the field. It was buried through the scientific method. Not that manifestation needs to bow to logic. Like, there are elements of this that don't have to fit into human logic, but still that effort to just not make stuff up because you feel good about it. On one hand, you can create the reality you want, but to the extent with which you're aligning intentions outside of the truth of who you are, that's why you're blocked. And so this Aquarius and Capricorn, even though being blocked is an illusion, this Aquarius and Capricorn downloaded such extraordinary knowledge of the unique nature and eccentric quality of your being, which expanded the knowledge of who you are, sextile Jupiter and Aries, showing you how much more of a badass you are. And I can't emphasize, Aquarius season did you a solid. It hooked you all up. It not only enlightened you to the higher knowledge of yourself, with celestial knowledge as a soul with a physical being, right? With a physical experience, but it also lets you know your place in the world, or rather how who you are is seen and thought of in the world, and how you can stand up for that or connect with other like minds who vibrate and resonate with that. So the reason why I wanted to preface that is, now that everything is set up, Pisces is the final experience where now you awakened power in Capricorn, you strengthen the knowledge of what it is. Now it's time to experience this here in Pisces. And this Pisces season is going to be one of the most magical, controversial, and dramatic Pisces seasons we've ever had. This Pisces season is like the last season of a season series episode of a show, and as a part of a franchise that has been up and running since the early 60s when you were a kid. And now you're seeing the last season of it, and after this last season, the franchise is over. They're not going to make any new shows. They're going to reboot everything with a new franchise, a new season series, new television shows, new reboots. This is a huge deal. And this Pisces season represents the end before the beginning of the end. So we're going to have Pisces, then we're going to have Saturn in Pisces. So all the change starts now. This is like clearing up the curtain before Aries season. We now set up the new curtain for a brand new cycle. And trust me, it's involving war, death, pestilence, famine, the good shit. Revolution, baby. This is everything you prepared for. This isn't meant to scare you. If I say any of this and you're scared, you have to do more inner work. This should fill you with so much excitement. The theme here is revolution and innovation. Okay? Independence and revelation. So, as the strength of your personality evokes insecurity from others who, with their inability to control their emotions, project their insecurity on you because they're stupid little bitches. And that's not their fault. They're insecure. They're inferior. They're stupid. Let them be stupid. But don't be wasting your time lowering yourself or giving your power away to stupid little bitches. They are allowed to be stupid little bitches. They made with their peanut-sized processing brains the decisions to be stupid and little and bitches. So let them do that while you walk your path, okay? And the reason why I have to say it like this is a lot of, fallacies laden in idiomatic social expectations, idiomatic statements and social expectations are crumbling. Pluto's 29 degrees. All that bullshit you were taught as a kid and as a young adult, you're realizing more than ever was always bullshit. And many facets of society still to this day continue to be a lie. Consider the fact that people are still continuing the hum and drum of society, and yet the vice president of this country is a vessel of Lucifer. Y'all got a whole demon lord criminal in office, and you know what I'm saying? This just lets you know, the state of things. This shit's about to hit the fan, y'all. Not because of this politics. That's just one sliver. Okay, I'm not gonna say people are asleep, because there are a lot of people who are aware, but you have to understand the conditions and climate of what inspired revolutionaries in the 1700s to fight against established order for you to enjoy the liberties you do now. Don't wait till you're pushed in a corner, which is what's going to happen. But other than that, let this Aquarius season remind you all of the extraordinary knowledge that it has brought to the surface. Because this final moon in Aquarius is going to give you the final piece of the puzzle after this final awakening to help you understand the advanced knowledge of power you've awakened in integration with the total knowledge with its conjunction to Saturn. The sextile to Jupiter in Aries and Chiron will give you such a boost of how much you've evolved, because when we started this transit, we had the new moon, then the moon was in Jupiter and Aries. So it was literally like you putting on new clothes and seeing, wow, these new clothes fit me so well. Now you've already tried out all the clothes you want to fit. Moon was in Libra. You know exactly what your outfit and style is. And now you're revisiting how much you've grown because you're getting ready to fully explore the depth of divine experience through this, which is going to change beliefs about yourselves. Because now you have superpowers. And now you have the knowledge of how to perfectly, efficiently apply them with the experience and practice of Pisces that will allow you to adjust how much more you step into this transcendence of your being, so that once you change your belief about yourself, that's the identity you move forward with in Aries. Godspeed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to be sugarcoating or shy in the fact that many of you are being watched, Many of you are surveilled by agents. A lot of the people in your life that you think are just regular people, NPCs, are not. They're actually there to keep tabs on you. And I don't mean this in a paranoid sense where you have to look over your shoulder. Our enemy is not flesh and blood. Think more unseen principalities that use human flesh puppets as their puppets. Unless you got the armor of God, you actually are conscious and you don't let yourself be used by narratives and other people's thoughts. Because as you step more into this integration and awakening, it's going to let you know the reason why all this is happening and why you're here. Godspeed. Peace.